And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest weekly report for the 24th of November 2014. Oops, that was a little bit quick. And as we're talking about finance, must advise you that everything I talk about today will be of general advice nature only, must not be construed as personal advice, and past performance is no guarantee of future results. Great, alright, let's switch over to Iris. And yes, a bearish week last week. We'll just quickly flick to the weekly chart, and you can see extending losses from the previous week. Switching back to the daily, haven't quite hit the lows that we've had of mid-October, some 5 weeks ago now, and then since then we've had a 400-point rally, but now we've lost 250 of those points back. So where are we now? At that 5300 level support range. As you know, it sort of dipped around here for a week last time, and then shot down in the day to 5150, which was the bottom. Alright, so quite interesting trading last week. We had, what do we have? We had an entry, Woolworths cover call, and an exit. We were able to take 2 profits last week at Thompson CSL, and the 1 loss on Woolworths, and a couple entries. So it was actually a very busy week. Let's just quickly go over the trades that haven't changed that much last week. And BHP, we've got some covered calls here, looking for 36.50. 35.50 for December. See, well, we did touch 35 about a week and a half ago, but have fallen a solid $3.50 since. Having said that, I looked at the overnight crosses, and they're suggesting BHP could be back to $33 this morning, which is a big jump. There was talk about the ECB adding stimulus and doing all it takes to get them out of their little recession that they're in at the moment. So that and other news has pushed the overnight crosses up, and we're actually expecting a 50 point gain from the index, the XJO, the ASX SP 200 on the open, which will be interesting to see if that actually comes into fruition. NAB, we've got we picked up our dividends. It's had a bit of a dip since, but the banks haven't been doing too badly. Having said that, this is a dividend here, but most of the banks are only dropping around that sort of 3% mark, whilst the index has had more of a 5% or so slip. Santos crude prices did rally up and then pulled back a little bit. Santos, we're looking for $12 and above, and it's looking quite good that we may see that today. But come Thursday expiry, we do want to see, I think with the adjustment we did last week, we do want to see, I think it's about $12.26 or better, okay, for that adjustment to have paid off. Alright, Origin flirting with our stop loss there, which is at $13. And there, that's just a bit touchy. And had a nice gain on Friday, and hopefully that improvement in crude prices will also push them up as well. QBE, we saw that have a nice dip, and I was weighing that up for a spread entry on Friday, but if we look at Friday's session, well, you can see it just rallied through the day. Even around lunchtime, it was hanging around that 1072, 1074 mark, but by 2 o'clock then it had shot up another 1%. So still monitoring a few positions for a re-entry. Now we did have a entry, and this is actually takes the cake for the worst trade of the year, and you can see when we entered at on this $33 support. You look back over a number of years, $33 has been a good level, and it's also in line with our trend line of support there, but then moving closer over the last couple of months, the trend, whilst it has eased, let's get a horizontal on the $33 mark. Get rid of this one. It has been holding up around those levels anyway. Nevertheless, on Thursday, no, it looks like it was Wednesday, it shot through, and we were entered on the Tuesday. Let's just count back. Yeah, on the Tuesday, and out on the Thursday. So very challenging trade, that one. You know, the defensives in this kind of market don't seem to be very defensive at all, as you can see. A little bit of news coming out that they had to change their alliance with Caltex, but still the falls that we've seen in Woolies, some 20% or so in the last couple months, are quite extraordinary for the nature and environment that we're in at the moment. Okay, so moving into the spread trades. Moving to spread trades, we had a bearish trade on Wesfarmers. Weren't sure about the timing, so we actually rolled it on actually this daily. Yep, that's okay. We actually rolled it on this candlestick here. Didn't really need to. We were sort of unsure that we'd have enough time come expiry this Thursday to hit our profit target. As it turned out, it did. Still able to take a profit there of 59%, 595 on level 2. Iluka has been hanging around, not doing a great deal. Had a terrible day last Thursday before regaining ground and kind of about where we entered, which was around here about 2 weeks ago. So still trying to find a bottom there on Iluka. CSL took a nice profit there earlier in the week, 60% on Wednesday, Thursday, I believe it was. Very busy week last week, had a lot of things going on, and we actually got back in for re-entry on Friday morning on the bearish side. Just looks like the stock has actually turned the corner there. So looking for further downside on CSL, so re-entered there for a December position and took a 60% profit on the November position. And lastly, we did have a trigger entry into Woolworths. Initially we established the trade here, but we didn't quite get triggered on that day. We did get triggered on this day as it hit 30. Has had a drop back since. Do have a December call option there at the 33.17 mark around here, so looking for just a retracement to a bit of normality there around 33 and onwards. Should fare us quite well on that trade. Alright, so ladies and gents, I'll wrap it up there. Quite a solid week. Had 2 good profits there, 1 disappointing loss, and if we've found the bottom of the market here, hopefully we get some clearer skies ahead. Take care, and we'll talk again this time next week. Thank you.